Howdy folks, welcome to another miniature painting session. I'm Dan, joined again by Matty. Morning Matty.
Morning Dan, morning everyone.
It's warming up. The weather, I mean.
Well, that's often what happens at this time of year.
Yes, but I do live in Melbourne and surprise, surprise, we had 11s and 12s in the past week. Just to remind us.
Well, believe it or not, Brisbane was recording record overnight lows for this time of year last week.
Yeah, there must have been a big, I don't know, I mean enormous.
A big something.
Yes. Hello, Papa. You have no idea who I'm talking to, do you? It's okay.
Big black dog. Who's absolutely adorable.
He is. He's getting old. He's the oldest juvenile nutbag I've ever come across.
Present company accepted.
Oh boy, how well do you know me? These are the results from last week. So, no, that's not going to focus, is it? Oh, men with shrubs. I like how they came out. They're nice, they're bright, they're happy. I did do eyeballs on them, as pointed out on the Facebook post. Thank you.
They look good.
Yes.
What do you think, Lee?
Some of them are definitely look as if they're startled.
Sorry, was that? Did you ask me a question?
He did.
Yes.
What am I doing? I'm still rage. I'm not rage painting, but I'm still painting ponies.
Right.
Actually, I'm painting riders now, but
The question is, are you doing eyeballs?
I will be doing horse eyeballs. I think twice about dwarf eyeballs.
I didn't think twice. I just got in there and made a mess.
Yeah, I made it. Well, look, I suppose I gave them eyes stereotypical of dwarves that were drunk all the time.
Play to that stereotype.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I did this week, and so there's a Kickstarter up for the Vascothia and Champions Challenge Volume 2. It has about 5 hours to go, I think. It's well and truly funded, but we'd love to get them through the $40,000 stretch goal mark if we can. And that's this guy, who is a miniature of the Rot King. So I had fun with that. I really do like the muscles. I mean, that's just anatomy at its absolute worst. But it was good fun to paint. It's a pretty dynamic sort of a, well, I mean, gruesome miniature. So, and I did do red eyeballs on him, but it's incredibly difficult to see. It has to be in the right lighting. But yeah. And today, just because Don Higgins on his live stream this week did a lemur trying to catch a dragonfly, so I'm gonna go back at him with dragonflies that are going to drop bombs on his lemurs. So these are from the Demonworld range, and they are flying bombardiers on dragonflies. So we'll see how that goes. This is what they look like, sort of painted, and we're going to go for something similar with a slightly different range of colours. So we'll get into it. Oh, did you end up just pulling the pin yesterday, Kle?
I did a little bit of work after I got back.
Oh, right. So you've got ponies and dwarves on the painting table.
Yeah, pretty much done. Shields, swords and axes, inks and highlights.
Right. What are you painting, Matty?
Isthak Snow Barbarians.
Ah, you've made a start on those.
I have. Not as much of a start as I would have liked because I was waiting on some new brushes to come.
Did they arrive?
They did.
Are they any good?
I guess. I don't really know how to qualify them, but they're Vallejo synthetics.
Right. So the way to qualify them is if they put paint on the miniature in the place you intended it to go, and they don't point in every direction at once, they're probably okay. I don't know.
Yeah, then in that case they're okay.
You get this stuff about these Winsor and Newtons and all this kind of stuff, and I've never experienced that, so...
Yeah, I have a Series 7. I think they're pretty good, but
yeah.
you do have to use it with the right techniques and the right paint. Simple as that.
Yeah.
It's not made for everything. It's a very soft brush. It's a watercolor brush.
Right.
So, the idea of using a watercolor brush to do 90% of your work on a mini is near on retarded.
Right.
But when you do use them for layering and various things like that, they are very nice to paint.
Right.
So painting with silk.
Right.
But you wouldn't stand up to doing all the work we do with the synthetics, you know.
No.
I've actually really like these army painter brushes.
Yeah?
They seem to be so durable.
Are those the triangular shaped ones with the white bodies?
No, these are the red ones.
Oh, those are the good ones, aren't they?
I don't know, they're maybe like $5 to $7 each or something, or $5 to $10 each. Obviously,
Right.
super detail.
Oh yeah, now I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what have we got? That's different, but I can't see it's rubbed off now. But base coating, there's a few in there anyway. Yeah, they're really durable.
I killed my first army painted brush pretty much within the first half hour.
How did you manage that?
It didn't come out of the packet very well.
Oh.
I think it had a manufacturing defect in where they put the plastic sleeve cap over it and nicked some of the bristles.
Ah, okay.
Because I ended up having to cut a lot of them away.
Yeah.
What was left worked very, very well, but it was a bit too thin.
Yeah, sometimes they'll have caught the hair and folded it back over the ferrule. I shouldn't have made it through quality control, but you never know.
Apparently, it's been happening with the Series 7 in the last year as well.
Yeah, you don't want to pay $45 for a brush to have that. You'd be sending it straight back.
That's a bit cray-cray.
Mm-hmm. So you haven't bought that goat yet, Kle?
A goat.
Yeah.
You know, I'm actually year of the goat. I didn't know this, but I am.
Your birth year?
Yeah.
Is that why you
No.
like mowing long grass?
Yep. And headbutting people. Possibly also why I can be stubborn as fuck.
Yeah.
But no, I won't be getting any pet goats. As much as I really do like them as a pet and an animal, I cannot fathom what would happen to the garden if they got out.
Well, I can. They chew it at one end and poop it out the other.
Yeah, so we won't be getting goats.
They're like, get a goat, it'll control the weeds. And I'm like, do you understand that these things will eat the things that they find tasty first before they eat the things that you want them to eat second?
Yeah, apparently they can be very picky too, so
Yep.
they may not eat your weeds if they don't like them.
That's right. So, yeah, don't like that. That's not tasty. So, yeah.
Yeah, tying it to a chain and starving it so that it eats your weeds doesn't sound like a
No.
great way to keep an animal.
Not a nice thing to do. Children, on the other hand.
Oh yeah, I would definitely tie that to a chain.
Please note, this painting live stream is not to be taken as parental advice.
But maybe you should, because it's actually a really good idea from a child safety perspective. Seriously, though, in public, children under 10 should be, leashed to their parent.
And gagged.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't going to suggest that, although...
We here on this painting live stream, we love children. They taste delicious. How much more inappropriate can we get?
Baby back ribs. Heck, what was that book? An immodest proposal?
Don't know it.
An immodest proposal, short title, for preventing the children of poor people from being a burden to their parents or country and for making them beneficial to the public. Jonathan Swift in 1729.
Right.
A satirical essay on eating children to say, cut down on food costs.
Right.
Baby back ribs. It's quite famous. I just wasn't entirely sure.
I know the name.
Now I am.
I know the Jonathan Swift. I know the author's name, but I didn't know what the book was called. Imagine that caused a bit of a stir.
I reckon so. Obviously, I wasn't around nearly 300 years ago, but...
I can tell you, that when I got out of bed this morning, I felt like I had been around for 300 years or so. Oh, those first 3 steps towards the bathroom in the morning, where your feet and ankles do not want to work.
Yeah.
The pain lancing up your legs and up your lower back. It's like, welcome to your 50s, pal. You wait for your 60s. You can see why as people get older, they get more curmudgeonly.
Or why they lose their shit and dye their hair purple.
I think that's just the accumulation over lifetimes of the wrong drugs.
Yeah.
What do you think, Matty? As you get older, are you going to dye your beard?
I've already experimented with hair color tinting shampoos.
Right.
They don't work for me.
Oh, I was going to say, they don't taste good.
Actually, they smell really good. They smell like peppermint and caffeine.
Oh, right.
Gave me this wonderful idea once upon a time for a blended drink, which is basically a latte with a whole lot of peppermint schnapps in it.
Oh, yeah, that would work. I could have done with a couple of those this week.
Yeah, I think there's something like that in Canada. They call it like a polar bear, maybe? Maybe it's chocolate and snaps. I don't know, it's something similar to that. Anyway, it's minty and something chocolate or coffee or something or other.
So,
And chocolate coffee would be really good.
Yeah.
do you guys know what Werther's Classics are?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what Eclipse Mints are?
Yep.
So, one of each of those at the same time. Now, there is a... I'm desperately trying to remember the name of it. There is an English confectionery, lolly, that does the very same thing. It's a all-in-one thing. Just Murray Mints. Yeah, but it's that idea, right? It's a creamy, yeah, creamy thing but minty thing at the same time. So you just add the coffee flavour, and that's what you're describing. And it does work. That's one of our travel staples as we're going up to Merimbula or, you know, South Coast, New South Wales, is Murray Mints or the modern equivalent thereof. If you go to Tilba, to the confectionery shop up there, they sell Murray Mints.
Where's that? Tilba, did you say?
Yeah. My brush is having a bad hair day. It's got one that's curled outwards. Just one. As opposed to me, I have about 100.
Better curled outwards than inwards.
This is true. Especially when you're talking about nasal hair. So what's on for this weekend, Kle, apart from mowing grass? Because it's that time of year.
It is that time of year, and I am doing that. I am weeding and mowing. That's it, pretty much.
Because there's that much of it to do, that's all you're going to get time to?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I got a solution for you that's not a goat. And I'm not even talking about fire.
Right.
That was my first.
Yeah, I was reaching for the napalm canister.
No. What you ought to do is you ought to import a whole bunch of breeding season male scrub turkeys.
Turkeys.
Scrub turkeys love to build mounds.
Oh, you mean a la the bloody bush turkey?
Yeah.
Oh. I hate them.
They do the job.
They do the job. My gosh, they can move a whole lot of stuff, can't they?
Had 11 of them living in the yard this year, and it's a quarter-acre block, so...
11?
Yeah.
In a quarter-acre block? My
Yeah.
gosh. Well, it must have been like a dust bowl.
Just about, and that's how I know it'll fix your grass problem.
I love it when people use the term fix. This will fix your problem, by which they mean that this will create a completely different set of problems to replace the first one.
Yeah.
That's software engineering 101, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to fix this. Really? Yep. How many did you say, Matty? 11.
11.
That is insane.
Why?
Because there's a couple of tall trees with a lot of shade and a compost heap
Right.
in one corner of the yard, and they would just come from miles around because there's not a lot of other big trees around the area.
Okay. So it's not by choice.
Well, they've got a choice because I often see them walking up the street.
Okay. Going to the local shops.
I kind of like them. They're possessed of an almost human intelligence and cruelty. Scrub turkeys fighting each other is something to behold.
Yeah, right.
I haven't seen that.
Scrub turkeys fighting crows is also something to behold.
Oh, I haven't seen that either.
So, okay, Australian crows are some of the most intelligent birds in the world. So that's very interesting to me.
I do know that they can sniff out a sweet potato from about 100 miles.
Right.
They just love it. They'll just dig it up.
Well, they're welcome here to any and all of the ones that I get served. I hate it. It's like somebody comes up with, here's a potato that's good for you. No, you've missed the point. I want a potato that's good for me. I want to know that if I'm eating potato, it's proper potato and I'm indulging.
Yeah, I'd much prefer normal potatoes, but it's enraged like a sweet potato.
There you go.
I mean, I don't mind it, but if you're going to put two potatoes in front of me, I'm going to pick a normal one.
Yeah. I do apologise for the nasty noises my stomach's making. I didn't get a chance to eat breakfast before the live stream because I have an obsessive personality, and the first thing I did was go back out to my workshop and do some more work.
How's that going?
Far too slowly. I killed a drill driver yesterday.
The driver?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I was halfway through screwing another screw in and it just stopped. It had a pout and never came back. So off down to Bunnings to buy another one. Another $50 I hadn't budgeted for. Never mind.
You're buying a Zito.
Of course I am. Hey, I spent $50 on the last one, and it's done probably about 5 years extremely hard work. So from the perspective of value for money, they're ridiculously good. I mean, they're crap tools. We know they're crap tools. It says on the box, do not use this for constructing houses. Well, you know, I'm effectively constructing a house, so...
Well, you've just invalidated your warranty.
Exactly
Not that
right.
it has one, but...
No, I wouldn't take it back anyway, because again, it was 4 or 5 years old, and it's been abused like you wouldn't believe, and it just kept coming back for more, except yesterday when it decided enough was enough. But even in the process I've been through with it in the last couple of weeks, I've been driving 75mm coarse thread wood screws through pine without any pilot holes, and it just, yeah, a couple of times it got pretty hot, and you know, you let it cool off again, but obviously it had reached the end of its service life, and that's fine. You know, I don't mind having to replace a tool that's actually worn out doing what it was supposed to do. What I really resent is when you get something out of the box and you attempt to use it and it doesn't work first time. But,
Yep.
I haven't.
Hence the Zito commentary.
Yeah, right. I haven't had that, to be honest. Like, everything I've bought has always functioned at least once. I mean, some of the stuff is only barely fit for purpose, but
Yeah, I try and avoid them. If it's a random tool, like I've got a heat gun,
yeah.
fair enough. But my last Bosch driver lasted 20 years, and the only thing wrong with it's the batteries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I bought a new one, and I got it for $50, so I wouldn't complain.
Okay.
Brand new Bosch.
Yep.
And it's amazing.
Yeah. And I was talking to a mate of mine last night who was around about this. I was like, I would replace them with good quality stuff, like a DeWalt or a Bosch or something like that, except I've already got the set of batteries and the battery charger.
Yeah. Yeah, I decided to renew everything and just go with Bosch again.
Yeah.
But once you pass that whole battery lump stage, then everything else isn't too bad.
Yeah. Because the skins themselves are relatively cheap, but setting up to get yourself enough batteries, that's actually quite expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that Bosch skin for $50.
Yeah. And I've got a GMC drill press that is 20 years old. So GMC was, I don't know, the Ozito equivalent 20 years ago. And it's done 20 years hard work. Well, 19 years, because it spent the last year in a crate waiting for a workshop to get built. But it's done a lot of hard work, and it just keeps coming back for more. You know, drilling 1/2-inch holes through 6mm stainless steel.
What's that for?
This is when I owned the yacht and I was putting backing plates in behind main sheet cleats, because the person who'd done it before hadn't bothered. They put 1.5-inch washers behind it, and that doesn't really work for very long. It just rips the cleat through the fiberglass. Not one of mine. So yes, that was exciting. It was annoying. Cost me an hour's productive work. Right, so I should be up to putting insulation in, hopefully, tomorrow. I have to watch a few videos on that to see how people do it, because I'm interested to understand how I'm putting insulation in the ceiling space and stopping it from falling down before I put the cladding underneath it.
Well, I can tell you 100% it's gonna suck.
Oh yeah.
Putting cladding on the roof sucks. Putting insulation up there will suck too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they held it up with like a wire, like a farm fence style.
A mesh?
Mesh wire or something.
I have got mesh. Like, they did supply mesh with the shed. But I'm wondering how, in between getting the insulation up there and getting the mesh up there, how you stop the insulation falling back out.
Isn't it suspended by hooks before you get the mesh up there? Like, you start by putting up your hooks, then you hang it on the hooks, and then like a suspended ceiling.
I don't know. Like, it's being pushed into spaces in between the purlins and the battens. So
Yeah, so like hooks.
yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm going to watch some videos. Get some pointers. But you're right, Kle, it's going to suck. I've decided I'm going to rip those ply sheets in half, because manhandling an 8x4 in the air doesn't sound like any fun at all.
Yeah, whilst then trying to screw the damn thing or fix it somehow.
Yeah. Could just see me standing on the ladder holding the thing tight to the roof space with my head. And I think that's probably
Got
not.
any pine left?
I've got stacks of it. Why? Make props.
Yeah, wedge it up.
Yeah. Alright, so we'll end up with 2 blue, 2 purple and 2 black. Be alright, I guess, if I had somebody here to help, but
Yeah, even then a two-person job with that is still quite a hard work.
yeah.
Working above your head and then working above your head with those sort of weights and awkwardness is just horrible.
Yeah. The way I did it for the battens was I ran a temporary shelf. So clamped a temporary shelf along the wall and rested one end of the batten on the shelf while I screwed the top end of the batten in.
Yep.
So I might be doing that with, because I'm going to do the roof ones first before I do the wall. So the next part of that is, of course, I've got to drill holes in them for where all of the electrical stuff comes out. So, you know, the light points. So do the measurement, drill a hole, put it up, see if it fits, alter it. Ugh. Yep. It's going to be hilarious.
That is, so I can only recommend measure twice, cut once.
There might even be 3 or 4 times measured first.
Measure thrice, yeah.
Did you do your boots this morning, Matty?
I'm working on them now.
There you go.
I'm actually not happy with them.
Uh,
I've spent a lot of hours polishing these boots, getting in base coats and spit shines.
yeah.
Oh my god. They've just never come up the way I really want them to.
Right.
And it's not a lasting shine, which it should be.
Right.
So a lot of work to get them back to where they should be.
Is it the leather? Quality of the leather or something?
Well, it's not great leather, but I think it's also Kle food polish has changed its formulation. It's gone on a lot softer out of this tin than the previous tin of the exact same stuff. Yeah, it's just not taking very well, and yeah, it's never really held a mirror shine for more than a few hours. And I mean a few hours after polishing.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it looks okay if you just want to lay it on thick, leave it sit for an hour, and then scuff it off with a brush. Which is okay for anything that's not the toe cap, but yeah.
Polishing, I would just do it. But they used to last longer than that.
You're absolutely right, they should last longer than that.
Pretty satisfying, really.
Doggos are back from their morning walk.
That was quick. I only saw him, what, 40 minutes ago?
Yeah, because Willow's still only, what is she, 19 weeks old or something. You're only supposed to walk them 5 minutes for every month of age, so they're not supposed to go very far.
I assume that that's a bell curve, and you don't walk the old dogs that far either.
Well, you should say that.
It just takes a lot longer to go very little.
Yeah. Yeah. Last year, Duke and I were doing, well, actually earlier this year, Duke and I were doing 11, 12 kilometre walks. And I think it was probably a bit too much for him in the end. He ended up with a couple of niggling injuries, so. Shoulders and the like. So, I want that colour, I want that colour, that colour. I'll just empty my damn rack at this point. So those three. Azure Magic Evil Chrome Tainted Gold. I actually want a bright gold as well. To do wings. Wow, I didn't realise I'd picked out the edge of his armour in gold. There you go. More work.
If you're going to ride something fancy and shiny, you got to have fancy and shiny armor too.
Yeah, absolutely. I consider these to be elite troops, wouldn't you?
If not elite, then very stylish.
If not elite, then effete.
Yes, very good.
Okay. Some water. I had to put the Tyranid away. Every time I reached over the bench, I knocked it over. Plus, I was
So you did get started on it.
Well, no. It stayed in its base coat. I've got a Morlock sitting here that I thought I might do too. I don't have time. So Nidvember's going to be a real disappointment here, I think.
Column and albino strain.
Yeah.
Just whatever eyes it's got, paint them pink, and you know, laugh.
Yeah.
Stick your 3 colours rule up your ass. My Tyranids are albinos.
Yep. I think what I did. I was reading about dragonflies during the week because, again, I was inspired by Don. Apparently one of the prehistoric ancestors, and not a dragonfly, but an ancestor of dragonfly, had a wingspan of 30 inches.
Pretty big bug.
I'm not sure I'd want to be the windscreen in that particular case.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
You still haven't seen Dune yet?
Nope. No, release has
Okay.
been pushed back.
Of course.
But I do know about the ornithopters.
Insane, because they looked very good on screen.
Mm. That hasn't worked. Now I've dragged the blue into the gold. Doing well. So it just looks like a mess now, but when it's dry and with the ink over it, I think it'll blend.
Wow.
Hmm?
Dragonflies can fly at 100 body lengths per second in forward flight.
Yes.
I can't do that.
Depends on what you've just tripped on.
True.
What does that equate to in terms of birds?
I don't think birds typically fly that fast. Not the ones I see.
Well, okay. Are we back to the bush turkey discussion?
No, because those bastards are swift.
Hmm.
They're like cassowaries, except smaller.
Less head armor.
Sounds like we all need some caffeine.
The sounds of silence. I was concentrating on the mess I was making.
But it's artistic. What is that one that you're using to make the diaphanous effect? The one that just went on most recently.
Evil chrome. It's an army painter metallic colour.
Evil chrome.
Evil chrome. I bought the metallic set, which had 9 or 10 different metallic colours in it. So it gives it that sort of iridescent quality. So I'm wondering if I should go back and blend that a little bit. It's probably too late.
So, shield design.
Yeah.
Does every unit have a different shield?
Do you want every unit to have a different shield?
I don't know. Do they shields normally go to the unit level, to the clan level? You know, like if some people paint every guy with a different shield.
Yeah. So wow. So the answer is it's a resounding it depends. It depends. Do you want? Okay. So is the unit the private retinue of a particular noble? Is the unit made up of famous individuals or individuals who wish to be known by their warrior prowess and therefore they want to be individually identified on the battlefield? Is it part of a professional army, or you know? The answer to your question is all of the above, which probably doesn't help you. You know what I mean? It's.
That's good enough. It means that I've got free will to do whatever I want. Might just make them similar or same to one of the other units.
I've done both. I've given individuals different shields within a unit, and I've also given units the same shields across the unit. So I think you've got free reign to do whatever you like, and you can write whatever you like to back it up. Basically, it's your story to tell, so you tell it. So you haven't run out of shield decals then? I think I've used a complete set of the orc ones.
Nice.
That didn't happen. But
They're out for delivery, but not this day.
I can't figure out how that works.
Yeah.
The post he's seen him and kept him for himself.
We had this weird thing happen yesterday. So we've got one of those video doorbells. Don't know if you've ever seen them, but
Movies and stuff.
it's got a motion sensor in it and a camera in it. So if somebody walks down the driveway, the motion sensor will set it off, and it'll do its damnedest with image recognition to figure out whether or not it's a person. So yeah, I had a mate over last night, but Joe had been out and got pizza for dinner, and she'd brought the pizza home, and she'd come through the front door. I'd been gone down to Bunnings with that mate of mine, and we'd come back and we'd gone through the front door, and then we'd sat around talking for a couple of hours, and then as he was leaving, as we were going back out through the front door, there was a card folded in the door for a post item that couldn't be delivered and had to be collected from the post office. And not only did the person who put the card in the door not ring the doorbell, but the motion tracker didn't pick him up either. So I have no idea how they managed to stealth their way to the door and leave again to leave that card in there. I can't figure it out. Could be. Could have been. Could have been.
Just send it from the local post office.
Well, it must just be a guy who's going around putting pre-written cards into people's doors.
Yeah,
Like,
I've had that. Well, they don't even attempt to deliver it. They just throw the card in.
yeah. Well, I don't think they've even got the parcel with them. I think they've just got the cards. I think they're just going around distributing the cards.
Yeah, well, that's the case for our guy. Our guy never brings parcels. It's always cards.
Yeah.
He's a little motorbike guy.
Yeah.
They don't have a separate vehicle delivery.
I guess I'm lucky then. I've got two different regular Ozpost parcel contractors. They both have vans and they're both actually really good guys. Like, they will make the effort.
Yeah, the last guy in Brisbane I had was like that too. He was really nice. I suppose out here they don't really.
They got bigger areas to cover.
Yeah.
It occurs to me that this is what those Turbo Dork and similar colour shifting paints would be really good for.
Yeah. I agree.
Hey, did I see a miniature range, miniature brand had released some of those colour shift paints?
I'm not sure. I know of the ones that Matty's talking about. I don't own any, but I know of them.
There is a miniature brand, or one of those brands that actually makes those colour shift paints, which I was surprised about.
Was it AK Interactive? No.
Remember now. May have even been Vallejo, because I was looking at. I just picked up a couple of paints and I was looking for a particular one. So
Right.
I came across. I must have come across those colour shift paints.
Yeah, I think I've seen Vallejo's got something similar now too. A couple of them have gone for the colour shifty thing.
Yeah. Well, I can't. Unless you're doing model cars, I can't think of a reason you would want
Well,
dragonflies, I guess.
Dragonfly wings.
Magic swords.
Hmm. Oh, necromancer robes.
Mecha.
Mecha? Yeah.
Necromancers be a little bit more like. This is what I don't understand. How is it evil chrome when it's fucking looks like a fairy? I mean, I know fairies are evil, but
You haven't played much Earthdawn, have you?
Yeah.
yeah, I want my necromancers to be a little bit more scummy and dirty than like a potted up bloody Subaru.
At least you said Subaru and not Honda Civic.
Yeah, I find it funny that people get into Civics.
Used to work with a guy who'd put a Prelude motor in a Civic.
Why not leave it in the fucking Prelude and drive that?
Yeah, well, I don't know. He wanted a Civic with a gigantic lump of a motor in the front of it. He ended up with a lead-tipped arrow. It was fast. It was also ridiculously fragile. And launch it off the line and smash a half shaft. I really don't know which leather colour I used for that, so I'm going to do the rest in this one.
Different leather comes out of different animals.
Yes, it does. They might have changed the curing process that day, or it could have been warmer weather. I was having this conversation about colours with a friend a little while ago, and it's about when you're painting, let's say for argument's sake we're painting some of those fancy German infantry smock colours from late in the Second World War. We've got those really interesting patterns. You get these guys and they go, oh, that's the wrong colour. Oh, the spots are the wrong colour. And you're like, really? What light are you looking at them in? Is this guy running around? Is it a bright sunny day? Is it an overcast day? Is it at night, maybe? Some people just get hung up on the strangest things.
Yeah, I won't be painting tanks historically correct.
Well,
It's kind of fun, you know.
mm-hmm. Is it painted? Does it look like a tank? Tick. I think I've got a couple of spare panthers lying around here somewhere, possibly. I think tradition demands I paint at least one of them pink.
You've been watching Girls and Panzer again.
You
I know you hated it.
You say again. This presupposes I finished it the first time, which I didn't.
You told me you did watch it once, and you hated it.
I've seen the first episode, and I'm still baffled by it. I don't understand it at all.
Not a panther.
Right. Okie dokie.
Sore from that vax.
Oh, really? I certainly didn't have any trouble with the second one, but then I had AstraZeneca, so...
Yeah, I didn't feel that bad. I think my muscles got a flu.
Yeah, right. There's nothing quite like having a whole bunch of fluid injected into a muscle, though, because just that on its own hurts.
Man, I think I'm gonna get a coffee.
That sounds like a grand plan.
Yeah, the shields are done, horses are all touched up, guys are done. I think I just got to do saddles because I did them brown, but I want more contrast.
Right.
Oh, saddles and gaiters.
Right.
I don't know why the hell these guys got gaiters, man. It would have just been better if they had pants all the way down.
I was going to attempt to make a really bad joke about Florida dwarves, but I think I should just... It's so the creepy crawlies in the tunnels don't crawl up their legs. Well, you have a heckin' good day and a damn good weekend. Not that, honestly, mowing grass for 2 days.
No, that's only going to take 2 hours.
Right.
But, all the whippersnipping and weeding and everything else will take 2 days.
Yeah, right. You got a metal blade on that brush trimmer?
I have two, yeah. One with a really big ass snipper with a blade on it.
Yeah.
And a more standard size snipper with a...
Just a line.
Yeah. I needed it because I had... The grass was like 5 foot tall and stems on it were thicker than my thumb.
Yeah, right. Yep. That's where the metal blade comes in.
Yeah. But actually pretty much all that's gone now.
Right.
So there's only a little bit left, which I don't do that often.
Good stuff.
Yeah, man.
And I'll see you Monday, inevitably.
Yep.
It all starts again.
Man, that paint's awesome wings, isn't it?
Yeah, the iridescence, the shine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy good.
Yeah. It's good stuff. It's like glitter, though. You know, you give your kids glitter to play with and you're finding glitter for the next 25 years. It's going everywhere. You can't see it, but I've got it all over my hands.
Oh, yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I'll catch you Monday.
Yeah. Take it easy, Kle. See ya.
Have a good one. I think I'm going to stand up for a minute and refill my coffee too.
I'd love to do that.
Well, if you want to do it in shifts.
Right. Off you go. I'll see you in a minute.
Okay.
Sorted.
Yep. So I know you're not a frequent coffee drinker, if at all, anymore. Do you like it, or is it do you just prefer your caffeine cold?
I don't like coffee at all, actually.
Oh, okay. I knew there'd have to be something wrong with you.
Oh, let's not get started on that. Not even a 2-hour live stream's long enough to list all the things that's wrong with me. I don't know why. I just, in the early years of my professional career, I hung out with guys who were coffee snobs, and they introduced me to the best coffees and the different flavours and all that kind of stuff. Couldn't stand it. Just didn't like it. Didn't like the taste, didn't like the aftertaste, just, yeah. It's just a strange thing, so.
Oh well. Must not have been meant to be.
There may have been a case to be made to say that, my parents brought me up wrong because they brought me up, well, they didn't bring me up on, but they drank International Roast, right, which is appalling stuff. It's really, it's almost a travesty to call it coffee. And so you could argue that, oh, well, you weren't introduced to the stuff that's really good, but no, I've been to coffee houses and had premium blends and proper barista made coffee and everything like that, and it just doesn't do anything for me.
Well, that's fair. A lot of those so-called proper premium blends and a lot of baristas just aren't worth the time and effort.
That's true.
Quite
That is
frankly.
true. That is true. But, you know, when you get... I don't know. Mate, it's also hard to know whether fanboys are being fanboys because they want to look like fanboys, or whether they really do truly appreciate what they're doing and what they're talking about. And
I've met a few of those, and I've met a few who are actually genuinely serious about it. The difference is night and day between them.
Yeah. These guys were... At least one of these guys was... He appeared to be very serious. He was going out of his way to go to obscure places to get stuff to try. And not talking about whether he liked it or not. It was just... Like, he was into it, if you know what I mean. And... Whereas I suspect some of the others were just going along for the effect. We go to this place because, you know, they do a great coffee. It's really funny, actually. Some of Joe's friends are like that. You've got to go to this place. They do a great coffee, and Joe will go there, and she'll get a coffee from them. She'll go, "Oh, this is shit," you know. So, yeah. So you were going to start a story there, and I've kind of ruined it.
I've probably forgotten it already. Although, to tell a completely different story that sprung to mind with your tale of Joe's travails. A couple of years ago, I was gifted a book of Brisbane's best cafes, 120 cafes in whatever range of Brisbane, as far as the Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast and Northern Rivers in New South Wales.
Righto.
And each of those cafes had a good for one free coffee coupon with it for just bringing the book in and saying, "Oh yeah, I saw you were advertised in here, and so that's why I came."
Yeah.
One of those type deals.
Yep.
So I did it. I took that book and I took a blank journal and I started going around to these cafes, and I got to about 30 of them.
Right.
Not one of them that is still... There was one that I considered to have really good coffee.
Right.
That was one I was already going to.
Right. That's an exceptionally low hit rate.
Like, some of the places had a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
Some of the places were not at all like they were advertised, because they'd had a change in ownership in the 6 months between sourcing the advertorial material and the publication. And quite frankly, a lot of them are now out of business.
Right. Well, that's usually a sign that they weren't that good to start with.
Anyway. Yes, it was must go to these places and try their coffees, and they're just not that good. Special mention, though, to the one guy who... I showed up, like, literally on closing time. He'd already switched his machine off, and he said, "Oh, well, I know it's not quite what you're looking for, but here's the one I made for myself for the road. You can have it." I'm like, "Well, thank you. That's not necessary. I realise I showed up late, and that's your own coffee."
Yeah.
And he said, No, take it and come back tomorrow if you can." I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll do that."
Yeah.
And I mean, that kind of customer service is nice.
Yeah.
Like, that was incredibly nice.
Mm.
And he offered the free coffee offer out of that book the next day as well. And I'm like, that's not necessary at all.
Mm.
So I tipped him, 300% of the price of the coffee and said, "Thank you very much." And I gave him a good review on my journal.
Yeah. What did you... So even beyond the quality of the product they prepare, the quality of the customer service is as, if not more important.
Well, I think that makes a lot of it. It's okay to have your fancy $10,000 Italian espresso machines, but if you don't have the the right attitude when you're making it, and you don't have the right attitude towards your customers, then yeah,
waste of time.
pretty much.
What did you do with that journal?
Still got it.
You never published it.
No.
It just...
It was an interesting experiment. There was a plan for publication at some point, but I never got around to it because, quite frankly, the quality of my writing is not that great.
It's
very subjective.
Well, but that... I think everybody's aware that it is subjective, or at least they should be aware that it's subjective, but my point is that that sort of thing probably has a shelf life.
Well, yeah, several of the places that I've been to in that are closed now forever, and not necessarily due to coronavirus. The one that I knew had good coffee, the one that I'd been going to anyway, and was written up in there, closed in late 2019 because the owner just couldn't be bothered. You know, she wanted to raise her kids instead.
Right.
Which is fair.
It
I
is.
think.
Well, it's a personal choice.
Yes, I think the date on those reviews is well and truly past time for proper publication. That's okay, I've still got the journal and I've still got the memories. I can always relive those days.
Bruce Springsteen, get out of my head.
Never cared for him. Granted, he's an accomplished musician, but, you know, the working class man is a filthy, filthy rich multi-millionaire.
Absolutely. I don't think he ever pretended to be anything other than that. He was just telling the stories.
Really? Isn't his entire act and persona and all of his music on that?
Yeah,
like,
but
he might have been a working class man once upon a time in his very, very early 20s, but not since then.
No. But I don't think he pretended that he was one of them. I think he, well, I don't know.
I always felt like he was pretending.
Okay. I thought he was the chronicler rather than the, you know, telling the stories of the people, not necessarily one of them. Yeah. But I mean, you know, wandering around in denim and boots and stuff like that, as opposed to, you know, getting dressed up to the nines all the time. I think that was just him. You could argue the same for Chisel too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely could. My phone has just reminded me that your stream is starting. Yeah, Twitch has been pretty good about that from time to time.
Does that make it... Oh, wow. That is tardy.
Nearly 90 minutes.
Nearly. So I guess I'm not going to get to the point of secret sourcing these, at least not live.
Well, they're such incredibly large, detailed models. Miniatures, whatever. I can never keep that terminology straight in my head.
I think it's interchangeable.
Yeah, I know, but why not go with just one, I think to myself.
Variety's the spice of life, Matty.
Yeah, but I could have coffee instead. No, it's true, it is very important to be varietal. Varietal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay, we're using that word.
I mean, you could go for varietous.
Well, yes.
Hmm.
Yes. But more likely they're going to go for you.
Irregardless.
Yes, I've only had the one cup of coffee. The mental gymnastics aren't quite working yet.
I hate that word. That just... I just about cheer every time somebody says irrespective. Yes, thank you. It's a perfectly good word. Just use it.
Irregardless is a perfectly cromulent word.
Yes, that's it. Cromulent. Is that more Simpsons? Or
It is.
It is.
A noble spirit embiggens the smallest man. Embiggens? Never heard that word before I moved to Springfield. What are you talking about? It's a perfectly cromulent word. Was the discussion between the two school teachers.
Right. Have you sorted out a replacement activity due to my dismal failure of not being able to turn up to the game tomorrow?
I imagine I'll be painting.
Well, I can't say
Or editing,
I'm unhappy about either of those.
Honestly, neither am I. I mean, I tried to edit last night and I got nowhere. I mean, I got less nowhere than I did the night before when we were talking about that.
Yeah, you need to avoid starting the week by having people shouting at you about taking their junk somewhere else.
Well, that continued largely through the rest of this week as well.
Did it?
Yeah. And I mean, you look at the sweet little old ladies as well who do it and you just think, what's society coming to? When you go off instead of doing a good deed and, you know, you offer your help to someone and then you get told, no, sorry, we don't actually need your help right now.
Right.
Because there have been hundreds of other people with exactly the same thought as you. And you just want to salve your conscience by dumping your stuff on someone else. Instead of actually volunteering to do that work of sorting out your dumped stuff.
Yep.
I mean, I'm fucking struggling for volunteers. And I'm talking like I'm a real, genuine part of the organization now, I realize. And not a cynical, snarky guy. But it takes a lot of manpower to effectively turn those good intention donations in an op shop to, you know, saleable product that actually gets sold
Mm-hmm.
which then in turn generates the funds to help the people out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like when you go to an op shop, you drop your stuff off, and that just gets instantly handed over to a family of poor people. That's not what happens.
Mm.
That seems to be the expectation of a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, example, there was a lovely couple yesterday. They were pleasant as could be. They brought in a lot of high-quality donations. A lot of it was brand new, still in the boxes, and it appeared to have been specifically bought for perhaps their grandchildren, who they probably won't be able to see this Christmas. I didn't ask. It wasn't my business.
Mm-hmm.
But then right at the end they said, well, so what happens to it from here? Will it be given to families, or will it be sold? And I'm like, most of it will be sold here in the store to raise money for those families in need. And I was like, oh. Just a disappointed flat oh.
Mm.
There are places you can take stuff like that to, but that particular store is not one of them.
Mm. Isn't that more a sort of a Smith family thing?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, and I think Finney's has it, and Salvation Army has similar stores, but
Yeah, but not the one you're currently working at.
not the one I'm at. It's effectively just a commercial sorting enterprise with the best quality stuff going on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And just quietly a lot of it going in the skip.
Well, as you say, some people are fronting up with stuff that really is just junk.
Yes, I'm always enjoying being handed the bags of broken glass.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Broken china is the next favourite.
Yeah, really. I don't understand the thought processes, but you know.
People think they're doing a good deed.
Right.
It helps them feel good about themselves, because otherwise they're miserable, useless pricks, or whatever female equivalent you like.
Just use prick, it's probably fine.
But that is generally the mindset, and those are the ones who get upset when you say, look, sorry, we're full up at the moment, could you bring it back tomorrow, please?
Mm-hmm.
We might have some more room then. My real favourites are the ones who bring things on my big long list of do not accept. These things are prohibited from being donated.
Yeah.
Things that generally kill children, like knives.
Right.
Outside of kitchen knives, I mean. And trampolines and cots and car seats.
Right.
You would not believe how many car seats are sold in this country that are not to Australian standards for child safety.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realise.
And they always try and argue with you, particularly about the car seat. Oh, well, my child used it until they outgrew it and they didn't die. And I'm like, lucky for you.
Yep.
You mustn't have been in a head-on car crash.
Well done. Well done indeed. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting very cynical about
People
charity. People in general, but charity also.
Charity. Right. 10-second break. I need a beverage. I'll be back. Right.
I used to have a neighbour who would come running anytime he heard the sound of a tinny cracking
Yep.
or a bottle cap skipping down the street.
Right.
Good fun.
Oh, there are beers on. Quick, need to get there. I might get one.
He often did, and often he brought some too, which is good.
Luckily for me, I'm not at that stage in my life where at 9:30 on a Saturday morning I'm cracking open a beer.
Beer would probably be healthier for you.
Yeah.
May I ask what colour that is you're doing the hair?
So this is desert yellow.
Okay, I thought it was. I've been changing up the hair colours on those snow barbarians and various other humans.
Mm-hmm.
And I went with the sand yellow for a quarter off them.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, yeah, okay, that looks alright as a blonde. So, yeah, I was just wondering.
Well chosen. It does. When you put the wash on it and you get the shading effect, it looks pretty good as hair.
Oh, with the brushes, I mentioned I got new brushes.
Mm.
The whole reason I got the new brushes was because I felt like, you know, not wasting the postage on a bottle of soft tone. I'm paying a soft tone.
There you go.
So I took your advice from previous stream, and I'm going to try it out on the next lot of ice witches that I'll probably do after the Snow Boys.
Snow barbarians, yeah. Because you get less of a staining effect, and so the skin stays a lighter colour.
Mm. Oh, that's what I'm hoping for. Just mix it the same way, half and half, with the mixing medium, and then a drop or two of the great.
Exactly the same. I do the same with the dark tone too. Actually, because now I've got all of their flesh tones, it's the same thing. Just thin it down a little bit so you get a little bit more control. Although, having said that, there was quite a liberal coat of neat, strong tone dosed over that guy. So,
He did look pretty dark.
yeah, they wanted the growth out of his back. They wanted this a little bit darker. Personal preference. I wanted to show that there was a nasty organic type thing sprouting. You know, it was a parasitical almost. Can't please everyone.
Well, that's what art is all about, isn't it?
Not pleasing everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the sculptor did a great job.
Agreed. I want one, but I'm not going to get it out of the Kickstarter.
No. Was an add-on, yeah?
Yeah. But, you know, I buy all my gaming books through as PDF. I wasn't going to pay $300 shipping for it. not by itself.
No. Shipping is rude as at the moment.
I imagine at some point it will appear in another storefront, and I will get one then.
I imagine it'll look something like that. Time 43. Have I got enough time to do their armor? I'm heading for Ross o'clock in a pretty big hurry.
Yeah.
Maybe I should do faces instead of armor. No. Yes. No.
They have a lot more skin on them than they do armor.
No, there's just less. What colour is that? It's not that, that's for sure. I reckon it's not this either. Nope. Yep. Should have written the recipe down.
Writing things down is always good. Isn't that right, Todd? Good afternoon.
That is correct. Sorry, I was trying to load up Twitch, but instead I'm just listening to advertisement.
It's good for that. Have you ever been served advertising on Twitch for something that makes you go, I want to buy that?
Never.
Well, it's effective then, isn't it?
Yeah.
I saw somebody posted a meme to Facebook a couple of days ago, and basically along the lines of, if you interrupt the video that I'm watching with your advertisement, you virtually guarantee I'm not going to buy your product.
Yeah. I work for advertising and I don't watch ads.
Yeah.
Today, Dragonflies.
Dragonflies. Continuing the theme from Don's live stream.
I miss Don's. I was he comes on when I'm working, so it's a little harder to.
Yeah.
Time I try to put it on in the background, somebody wants to have a meeting.
Don does have a really good stream. He's got great artwork. He's an engaging personality.
Oh yeah.
The only problem with his stream as an audience participant, or audience in general, is that it's the wrong time of day. It might be the right time of day for him, but it's just not a good time of day for anyone else, I think. He's, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, in his afternoon, which is American East Coast. So what's that for the rest of the country? Significantly earlier, back to the morning. It's early evening for Europe, and they're all busy doing other things in Europe at that time. And for us over here, and it's pre-dawn.
It's like 3 in the morning.
Not quite. 5. 5
Oh,
for me.
that's still pretty early.
It's 6 for me at the moment, which is, it's not too bad. Like, I got away with it because it wasn't too disruptive. But if it was 5, There's no way. You know, because I can't get up and move around without disturbing my partner and the dog, and you know, once the dog's disturbed, no one's getting any more sleep.
Used to name it Coffee with Don. Coffee and painting with Don.
Yep.
Anyway, my suggestion for getting Don more viewers live is slightly different time. Shifted an hour or two in one direction or the other. American East Coast noon, perhaps.
Even earlier for you guys, though.
Well, yeah, I know, but
then Europe
I'm not thinking of myself.
Either he should noon or, you know, maybe American evening or something, but just to... I think he could get a good... I mean, if people will watch a live... I mean, you know... which to me is like watching paint dry.
Well, that's exactly what you are doing.
Well, with Don, yeah. Well, right now...
No. With what I'm doing. You are literally
just
watching paint dry.
Yeah. But at least you have two-way communication. It's not like watching people play a game and you can't even have any input.
Yeah. That's one of the other things about it is that he's relying on the chat to respond to. There's no two-way audio. This is a heck of a lot better with two-way audio.
Yeah.
I suppose I should have done hands as well as faces.
And if you are out there, Don, we're not having a go. We're just, you know, we're thinking of ways to help. Because you're a talented, extremely talented artist, and your work deserves to be appreciated.
And a genuinely nice human being. Unlike me.
I would have made a joke about kicking puppies, but I know that's not you.
Well, there has been a little bit of
stream.
that. There has been a little bit of that, but certainly not deliberately. Say, getting off a ladder, dog runs under feet. Oh boy.
Yeah, dogs are real good at that. Exactly how to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. We have a walk. Sorry.
You have a what?
We have a walk-in pantry. You walk in the pantry. It's really only one person wide. So you walk into the pantry. You walk back out of the pantry. You tend to back out because you don't tend to turn around. Because again, it's only one person wide, and dog under feet from behind.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. As soon as I'm like chopping something, that's when it's time to lay down right behind my feet, like silently, so I don't know that she's there.
Yeah. If I stealth my way here, I may get something that falls on the floor.
Which would be me.
Yep. So you're looking forward to this morning or this evening's session, Todd?
Yes and no.
Right. Looking forward to it with a modicum of trepidation.
I shall return shortly. I think my dinner is just about done. I
Okay.
gotta go grab that and turn to the computer.
Enjoy. Belts. Have I got enough time to do belts, Matty?
It's 7 to the hour.
That'll be a no. Alright, I'll do that.
I spent 50 minutes on Snow Barbarian belts last night. 50 minutes, I timed it.
For 12.
For 12.
Yeah. That's really only a little bit over 4 minutes each.
I know. I'll never be as speedy as you are.
It's only practice. And you can see, I'm still not being ultra careful. I still haven't done any edge highlighting, I still haven't done any layering or any blending or anything. I'm still just throwing basic pigment in the general direction of the area that I want.
And yet, it works.
It does. Because we're painting armies, not Golden Demon winners. But even before the wash goes on, the metallic, the iridescent paint on the wings is just brilliant.
It is. So you are going to put the wash on the wings as well?
Oh yeah, because it'll pick out the veins. See those indentations on there? You can actually,
Yeah, they actually stand out quite well already.
you can see on the washed one how it brings the wing pattern out. If I put it in the camera.
Yeah, well, the one that was just sitting in shot that you're not working on, that's already quite defined as it is.
Yeah.
Good morning, Ross.
Good morning, all.
It's Ross o'clock.
We try.
We try. Yes. My partner keeps reminding me how trying I am. Has it stopped raining yet, Ross?
No.
You guys must have good stormwater systems, that's all I can think.
Oh yeah, no, in Portland they built a $1 billion tunnel under the Willamette River to try and control things.
Right.
But no, we didn't get as bad as Washington and British Columbia did last weekend, but it's still drippy.
Right.
And temperature in the 7, 8, 9 range, so welcome to late fall in Oregon.
Does the rain strip the trees?
Yes, but at least in my neck of the woods, we're mostly evergreens, so we've got
Okay.
cedars and firs. And
Right.
so what have I missed?
Dragonflies.
I saw the beginning.
There you go. Well, you haven't missed a whole lot. We've talked about my dislike of coffee. It's not a terribly notable conversation, though.
Yeah, I can concur.
What is your drink of choice?
Apple cider.
Oh, very nice. Alcoholic or non?
None. And if you and we're unfortunate that we live in southern Washington. This part of Oregon is famous for fruit this time of year. So sometimes you can even find unpasteurized, and that's based on recollections from decades ago, was always a little bit better than the pasteurized stuff.
Obviously, it has a much reduced shelf life.
Yeah, it shows up in September and disappears. Usually you can find enough for Christmas dinner, but after that it's spotty. Real spotty.
It's unpasteurized. That's probably the literal statement.
Well, even the pasteurized stuff, if it's unfiltered, it collects a nice sediment, shall we say?
Yeah. Very nice.
I know we get apples from New Zealand off season. I don't think we get cider from New Zealand.
Right. Well, there you go. That is a very tasty way to end this live stream. I have a hankering now. Unpasteurized apple cider. Very good. Well, thank you all. Ross, I'm going to change computers. So give me 5. For everybody else, have a great weekend. Matty, thanks again. Wonderful company and a really good discussion. And we have some really tasty looking dragonflies coming along. So hopefully it doesn't take me the rest of the week to finish them off. Depends on what else goes on.
Thanks for having us, Dan.
No worries. Catch you all next week.